This is a story of a man who went to war without a gun and still became one of the greatest heroes the battlefield has ever seen. Desmond was a vibrant young man who grew up in Central Virginia. His father was an indifferent man, always pining after the friends he lost in the Great War. He could care less about Desmond and his brother Harold, but unlike his father, his mother was religiously inclined. She was the sense of reason and kept the family together. Desmond saw firsthand how the war destroyed his father and wanted to make a real difference. When World War II broke out, Desmond enlisted and told his father about it, who was strongly against it. Now his father drank most of the time, but the one thing he knew well was war. He was one of the most decorated soldiers, but hated everything about it. He told Desmond there was no place for him, for someone who had values in the military. But Desmond was resolute and determined, leaving his engaged wife for battle. Desmond was about to learn the hard way that his father was right. Desmond was one of the best soldiers on camp. He signed up to be a medic and had to go through basic training, and to complete the training was understanding the use of a firearm. But Desmond wanted nothing to do with guns. He wanted to go to war, but he did not want to bear arms. The commanding officer on the field thought he was a complete joke. He took him to the supervisor, who asked Desmond to follow the rules or leave his camp. He was berated for his beliefs and chastised for it. He was mocked and beaten. They gave him as much hell as a man can take, but he stood firm in the face of adversity. His defiance went to the top of the military food chain, and there was a court proceeding to honorably discharge him. But he gave this tribunal his reasoning for his beliefs. War is about death, and all he wanted to do was to save people. He said, "With the world so set on tearing itself apart, it doesn't seem like such a bad thing for me to put a little bit back together." The judge had heard enough and was about to discharge him home. But lucky for him, his dad had heard what had happened and used the little bit of power he had to set his son free from his commanders. The fight was over, but the real war was about to begin. He earned the chance to prove himself at the Battle of Okinawa. His unit was ordered to take down Hacksaw Ridge, which was a towering cliff filled with death and doom. The soldiers climbed up, saw the devastation the Japanese had caused with the earlier unit, and they got the chance, soon enough, to look death in the eyes. Soldiers who trained for years lost their lives in minutes, being blown to pieces, but the Americans stood firm, holding their ground. One soldier, who gave Desmond a hard time, saw how he was risking his life to save others, and asked Desmond what led to his conviction, and he told him the story. One night, like many other nights in his home, he heard his parents fighting, and his mom was screaming for her life. So he ran downstairs and saw his dad with a gun to his mom's head. In frustration, he took the gun from his dad and pointed it at him. At that moment, he wanted to take his life, but he couldn't. In his heart, he had killed him, but he couldn't pull the trigger. They bonded and laughed and became supporting buddies at war. Smithy died right in his arms. They never saw their rivals coming, and they tried to ward them off, but they were outnumbered, and Smithy became a casualty. With the death of Smithy, Desmond did not forget his mission. While everyone ran for their lives back to camp, Desmond went back into the fire to save more lives. He found a way to bring them down the cliff as he saved as many people as he could. All he kept saying was, "One more." He saved 75 men that day and earned the respect of his comrades. From being deserted, he became the hero of men, leading them back into war. From saving so many lives, he stumbled upon the underground enemy camp, and this time, they went in prepared. They blew up those camps, causing them to rise to the surface and making them easier to see. The Japanese raised the white flag as they believed the war had come to an end. Desmond took a few hits, but he was completely fine and lowered down from the cliff to be treated. What Desmond did that day was one of the most courageous things any soldier had done. He became the first conscientious objector to win the Medal of Honor, although the military doubted his every step to greatness. Moral of the story: the real war is on the inside.